Hey Alyssa, you have a good paper. I want to run through some things that I want to point out for you to fix on your next paper. First, let me start off with by saying that the point of this paper was to kind of introduce you to research, have you, get used to finding sources, using sources, and have you researching the opposing sides. So now you know who you're writing to when you get to your main paper. So I have your paper up here. I hope you can see it well enough. If not, if you can't see what I'm saying or you're confused, then email me and let me know. But the first thing I want to point out is right here, the period would go at the end here, and you don't need to put the date. Unless that's a page number. I could be wrong, but I think you're putting a year here, and so it's just the last name and the page number is all you would put, and then period. And so you have the period here, but it actually would go over here. So you've done that throughout your paper, so I'm not going to be repetitive and point it out every time, but just make sure that you're not putting the year, it's a page number, and the period goes over here. Next, on your thesis map, it's your thesis statement. It has its ups, it has its downs. You need to make sure that your thesis statement is clear and that the use of medical cadaver should not be used. Not so it's clear on what side of the issue you're on. And then you say it has many disadvantages, such as the cost of buying and storing them. That's clearly your A. And then you say the health problems that can be caused by the chemicals. That sounds like a B. And then you say in the student's own personal preference. And so it's like, well, is that a C? And I'm not sure what you mean by student's own personal preference. And then you have a different sentence that says there are also alternatives to using them, so it's not a necessity. So it makes it a little bit confusing. It's, for the most part, it's pretty solid. It could just use a little bit of tweaking to make it stronger. Right here, you have all the information here in your sentence. So save some of that because you have to put some of it at the end of the sentence so we know when you're done. So I would have just said, in the New York Times article, and I would say in science's name and then ... When you have a longer title like that, you put a shortened version of it. And then I would save, don't put the author there, and then at the end when you're done using it, then you would just put Broder, period. Broder page number, period. Or after in the parentheses. So I'm noticing that there. Again with the period, and if this is so, then you've done it correctly, but you have the article also tells, and so are you referring back to this article right here, but then you go into not specific prices here, and then you have the McCall 2016, my same comments as before with the citation here, but it's so this is just proving that it's, if you need to put the last name at the end of where you're using it, so it makes it clear on where you're switching gears on your usage of your sources. Make sure that you have those transitions in between your paragraphs so we know you're moving on to the next point. Same here with the percentages. You have to make sure that you're backing that up with where you got that from. So let me scroll down here. Here's another example of a really long title. So you would just shorten that, and I would save the last name for the parentheses. So really the usage of your source, my comments are going to be very, very repetitive here. Here you have the page number, so that's good. Just move that period over there. And then let me go down to your works cited page here. You have that. I know that it automatically does that for you. You just need to go back in and change it. And I know that's a pain, but that is the proper format here. Let me delete that. That's nothing. So let me go back up here. I did put your word count. It's a little bit short, so you need to be careful with that. 792 words once you take out the heading and the works cited page. So make sure that you're meeting that length requirement. So overall, you have a really good paper. I have good organization, and you have a good writing style. So if you have questions after watching this, then let me know. But keep up the hard work.